This is Somerville. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a slow-burning, kind of thought-provoking, narrative-driven adventure of sorts. And it's from the folks that did, or some of the folks that did, like, something, say, Limbo or Inside. And it's not quite at the same level as those games, I would say. Actually, a fair bit of a step down, but it's still an interesting play and an interesting journey that you can go on. So yeah, I had covered this ahead of its release back when it released on the Xbox Series X back in the day, ahead of launch. And then I was taking a look at it on PlayStation, and I just kind of like never really did anything on it because I was busy working on other stuff. And I thought, hey, now's, a good time to dive in and take a look at this game and what it has to offer and talk about it. So, the story follows a father, this man, who's just having a regular night with his wife and his young kid. And his dog. Obviously, Doggo's right there. Doggo plays an interesting role in this game. I think it's just more for the marketing, honestly, because the dog is a part of the game, and then it just randomly vanishes for like half the game, and it's a whole thing. It's very bizarre. Anyways, yeah, the game is kind of interesting from a concept and perspective. Like, I would recommend you actually interact with these little balls. There is like a part of the game based on kind of like your interactions with them. And I don't want to talk about it too much because that might spoil things to a degree. Are they not coming? Oh, is it because I didn't do the beep beep game with them? No, they're coming. Okay, good. Because I was like, what are they doing? They need to come to do this stuff. And anyways, yeah. It's a whole part of the game. Anyways, it's kind of weird because it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost a little disappointing because like they don't really explain the mechanic well enough in the game, if that makes sense. And it's like it just kind of randomly pops up and you're just left at the end of it just being like, what is the point of this? I think that ball's stuck. There we go. Sorry, I gotta get all my balls. You know how it is. We're all good, guys? Ball, ball, ball. Ball, ball, ball. I think they're all good. So let's go back. Yeah. So basically, your father with a family, you're just having a regular night, and then crazy stuff starts happening. The planet's invaded, and you're just trying to, protect your family or whatever. Something bad happens, and basically you awaken after whatever was going on happened. And you are attempting to find what happened to your family. And that's kind of the journey of Somerville. I mean, there's a lot more in between that happens, obviously. Like, there's a lot more to it. But that's the general concept, is like, where's your family? What happened to them? Where do you go now? And it's that journey that you're going on. And it's light interactions. Some stuff is puzzle-based, but it's pretty easy going. It's a fine play, honestly. Like, it's a fine playthrough. I enjoyed it. It's just like, if you are coming from the perspective of someone that played, like, Limbo or Inside, usually the games have a little bit more of a bigger twist, a bigger emotional payoff, something kind of deeper within them, and this one just kind of didn't really have that. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, by the end of it, even with the big thing, because it's almost frustrating how it all kind of goes. Who's that over there? Yeah, just a little bit. Ugh. So, anyways, neat journey, neat battles, neat moments, some fun surprises. On the PlayStation 5 Pro, It does seem to be running fine. The game does have a couple performance options. That is something I noticed when I played on the Series X. The performance was like all over the place. There was terrible screen tearing. I remember, I think that being a bit of a thing on the PlayStation as well, where it was like there were some technical issues. It seems like at some point they did add in 2 performance options. I can't remember if that was with the PlayStation version or not. So this was it was supposed to be a 4K 60 game, and now performance mode. They've like removed aliasing and stuff like that. It definitely seems like it's a softer picture, so it's more like 1440. And then you can switch to the visuals mode and kind of get the bumped up, you know, full 4K focus, and it just cleans everything. Because it is rather noticeable that the game has like bad aliasing. Like it's really jaggedy looking when you're not playing in the resolution mode. And like I think you can play the resolution mode fine with this game, honestly. Like it's not a bad way to enjoy things here on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and you know, it's still very cinematic, it still looks fine. It's the type of game that does lend itself to being something that does look better, if that makes sense. Like it is a game that I feel visually you get more out of if it looks better, or your experience is better because it looks better. Because it's not really a game that requires, you know what I mean? But it's like a really simple indie game, so it should be running, you know, really, really smoothly, you would think, but that just wasn't really the case. Am I gonna make this? Uh-oh. Run! There goes all my balls. Oh, and there's HDR support. My bad. Should mention that too about that other stuff. But yeah, you solve puzzles. I guess there can be multiple endings, but it's not quite in the way that you would think, honestly. And yeah, it's a fine little adventure. There's some mystery in that. I didn't find anything too overly difficult or annoying or troublesome to play. You know, it's got some feeling with the DualSense, but it's more like subtle. Yeah, it's a fine time. I genuinely think that you can dive into this and have a fun play with it. And it's not too long. Oh, I totally forgot that comes down and like totally destroys your face. Just smacks your head down there. It's not a terribly long game, so it's like, I think you could, basically, most people should be able to do it in like a sitting. Which makes it sound really short, but, you know, I don't know. Some people, it depends on how much, you know, a sitting in game time is for you in terms of like gameplay. But like, it's not terribly long to work through and get through, and I think you'll have fun with it. I think I'm supposed to, yeah, do this. And a lot of the puzzles are like this, where you're sort of manipulating electricity and light and stuff. And there's some other things, and things get like really crazy towards the end, and they tried to go for a really like weirdly like deep philosophical thing with how they were playing it. But like, I wouldn't say it like necessarily like falls flat, but like it's okay. It's just like, man, I was sort of expecting a little bit more out of this, just because it's got such a legacy of expectations, right, from other games, and it's got such a cool looking vibe, you know, an invasion of sorts, and the potential for it to just be like, you know, perfect quintessential game. We're just kind of there, and it just didn't live up to that. I don't know. Maybe my expectations were too high, but I was just sort of like, it's a solid, fine time. It's not going to blow your mind, but you'll have fun playing it, and you'll be like, oh, this is a cozy, kind of cool-looking thing, and it's aesthetically nice, and it's got a nice sound to it, a nice vibe, and you know, the puzzles are okay, nothing's too frustrating, and everything kind of works out, and by the end you'll be like, okay, but also maybe a little weirded out, because you'll be like, huh? And then you'll have to read things, and you'll kind of be like me, and you'll be like, oh, well, I wish I knew this, and yeah, that's the whole thing about this one, eh? Definitely got some weird vibes, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you've played it too, but kind of an okay game. Certainly worth a view, or play.